this is my first video, full-length video, and we're going to be going through my albums of the year. Obviously, there's much more than just albums of the year. I wanted to actually shout out some deluxes. So Melanie Martinez released a deluxe, Måneskin released a deluxe, The Devil Wears Prada released Color Decay deluxe, Motionless in White put out a deluxe, Eva Under Fire put out a deluxe, Iceland Kills put out a deluxe, Sleeping with Sirens put out a deluxe, Until I Awake put out a deluxe, and then Royal Blood recently put out a deluxe for their album. I thought I would shout this out because they have good songs on there that weren't on the original, and I love them, so I thought I would just shout them out because they usually don't get shouted out. Okay, and then I have some honorable mentions for albums, and just these albums I loved but didn't quite make it into my album of the year. So we have Amity Affliction, Not Without My Ghosts, Humanity's Last Breath, Ashen, Gideon, More Power, More Pain, Resolve Human, Casket's Reflections, Holding Absence, The Noble Art of Self-Destruction, For the Fallen Dreams, Hosier, Unreal Unearthed, Archetypes Collide, Conquer Divide, Slow Burn, Point North, Prepare for Despair, Olivia Rodrigo, Guts, Royal Blood, Back to the Water Below, Book of Songs Collective, Under the Hill, and their Fly or Die EP. Also want to mention their Sinners and Saints albums. These are book-themed albums and EPs. If you haven't, please go check them out. They're really good. Stitched Up Heart to the Wolves, Viola, The Cure for Breathing, and Lacey Strum put out an album. I don't know how to pronounce it, so I'm not going to try. And then we have A Virtue Omen, Pincer Plus, Hunting God Tapes Volume 2 Romance, Frontiers with their La Trilogy album, and then Unprocessed with their album and Everything in Between. Okay, let's get into it. So for my EPs of the year, we're going to go from the bottom up. So number 12 is still really new to me. I haven't really listened to a lot of his stuff because I checked out one of his songs and then he put out an EP. So that is Elijah, Fighting Myself. It's really good. And then Alive and Stone with their EP Alive and Stone. I've been listening to this band for 2 years now, I think. And they have really good songs. Some of the songs on here I just didn't really click with me, and I'll probably re-listen to it again at some point, but it was still really good. Poly Royale with their EP Sex Tape. That was good. I really enjoyed the cover of Closer on there, and whatever. Even though they're not one of my favorite bands anymore, I still really appreciate them for what their music gave to me. So Surefire, Wholehearted. This band got requested from a Nick Nocturnal Twitch stream because the person was in the chat, and I listened to one of their songs and I really liked it. And then they put out their EP and I really enjoyed the EP. Save Us Lucid, they released all the songs and then put it together as a full EP. This was really good. I don't remember where I first got recommended. It was probably TikTok, but it was really good. Set for Tomorrow, Perfect Strangers. I love this EP. It has some of my favorite songs from them on them. They're still technically new to me, but I really enjoy Set for Tomorrow. Elsie, Over Her Dead Body. This was her Halloween EP. I really liked it. It really gave spooky season vibes. I Sealed Eyes, Volume 2 Fragments. This was another band found from a Nick Nocturnal stream with their song Torments, I believe it's called. And I freaking love that song, so when they put this EP out, I was really excited. It was so good. And number 4, we have What Lies Below, Darker Colors. This is also still a new band to me. Again, probably got recommended them from TikTok or somewhere, but this EP was really good. Yeah, I don't really know what else to say. Number 3, Hairway, I Don't Want to Be Here Anymore. Parasite is still one of my favorite songs off this EP. If it comes up, I'm going to listen to it. I'm not going to skip it. But this EP is good. I love it. Attack Attack, Dark Waves is my number 2 because though I did listen to it technically in August or September, just listening to the rest of the songs I haven't heard, I really enjoy this. The first song I did hear off of this one is Killing for Sport, which is probably still my favorite, but there's another one that I can't remember the name of that I really like. But this whole EP is great, and I know for some reason not a lot of people remember this being out, but also I'm not really like a big, huge Attack Attack fan, and I don't know much about them. But I know Caleb Shoma was originally in the band, so that's really all I know, but regardless, this EP was still great. I really enjoyed it. And then my number 1 is Spirit Box, The Fear of Fear. My god, this EP, I still have this EP playing. Either just most nights I'll just listen to Cellar Door because I love that song. I love it so much. I love the breakdown. I love Courtney. I love Mike. I love the drums. I love everything about this EP. Like, I'm a big Spirit Box fangirl, so like I love this, and I was so excited when it came out, even though like it did come out the same day as Silent Planet Super Bloom. This was my favorite EP release of the year. Like, it's just perfect. Yeah, Ultraviolet is so pretty, and I will still play that one too constantly. So yeah, Spirit Box Fear of Fear is my number 1 EP of the year. Now we get to albums. So I have 24 albums I listened to. Actually, some that were originally honorable mentions got moved over because of how much I listened to them and how much I just honestly played the crap out of some of those honorable mentions and ended up getting moved over, or if I honestly liked the album so much that I just decided, you know what, I'm going to move it over because I don't want to keep it in honorable mentions because, like, I know I'm going to regret if I don't put it in my album of the year. So starting at 24, we have Asking Alexandria, Where Do We Go From Here? I tried to like this album, but after listening to the State of the Scene review this album, I kind of was like, yeah, it's okay. Like, I'm not a very big, huge Asking Alexandria fan. I only really listen to them because I know they're friends with Black Veil Brides, but yeah, it was like, I like a couple of their songs, saying that, but this album didn't really give anything to me that I really wanted. Yeah, the next couple are because I didn't really listen to them a lot and don't really remember them. So Pierce the Veil, The Jaws of Life. I think Death of the Executioner is really the only one I might still listen to off this album. But from what I remember, I did actually quite enjoy this album. It just came out on the same day 2 other albums came out, and one of them is ranked higher. The other one is seriously right after this one. But yeah, so yeah, the next one is You Me at 6, Truth Decay. This was really good. I really still love their song No Future, Yeah Right, featuring Rio Reynolds. That is my favorite song off the album, but I really haven't sat down and re-listened to this album. Next is Melanie Martinez, Portals. This album is really good, though I don't quite listen to Melanie as much anymore. I still really enjoyed this when it came out, even though I haven't really listened to it a ton. Emmeline, she is an artist I found on TikTok. And this is her album, That's How You Make a Villain. This was really good, and it was released later in the year, so that's why it's lower. But if you really like pop or like alternative pop, I would suggest you check this out. There are gonna be some non-metalcore things in this list. I should preface that because I listen to more than just metalcore usually when I want to. Next on the list is Halcyon Maleficent. Their song Maleficent is really good. I really enjoy that one. Their cover Unholy I love. I think their song Repent is on here too. And that song gets stuck in my head randomly sometimes. I think there's one more song on there that I can't remember right now, but I think actually they had a cover of Closer on there too, I think. But Halcyon Maleficent was really good, and I really enjoyed it. Their song Maleficent still comes up in my playlist quite a bit, actually. So yeah. Number 18 is Water Park's Intellectual Property, another one that came out earlier in the year. I loved all the singles. My favorite is still Love About It. I'm not going to say the other word, but Love About It. Yeah, it's just, it was a really good, like, album for the beginning of the year. I absolutely adore Water Park still. My favorite song is still Dream Boy, probably, I think. Yeah, this was just a really good album. I really enjoyed it. Yeah. Poppy Zig is number 17. This one also came quite later in the year. I really did enjoy this one too, even though I probably prefer more heavier poppy, but this was like a good, like, weird change of direction for her that, like, I really enjoyed. My favorite is still her single Knockoff, but, like, this album was really good. Like, yeah, Knockoff is a really good song, and I will play it when I want to listen to it. As Everything Unfolds, Ultraviolet is number 16. This was another really good one. This is a metalcore band from the UK with a female singer, and I absolutely love her vocals. She's really cool. Yeah, this album was really good. I think my favorite songs are Flipside and... oh god, there's another one. I'm so bad at remembering song titles. But yeah, Flipside is definitely another good one. Good song. And there's the one I can't think of that I really like that will still come up in my playlist too. Dark Divine, Deadly Fun. I really enjoyed this album. Their song Halloween Town is still probably my favorite, but off this album it would have to be Paper Crown with featuring the guy from Fame on Fire. I absolutely love that song. It has one of the most catchiest choruses on the album, personally. And I also got the album for my birthday, so yeah. I also have their EP now too, so. Paramore is number 14 with their album This Is Why. I really enjoyed this Paramore album. I listened to the crap out of it. Though it was probably really only some of the singles and the title track. There were still songs on here I thoroughly enjoyed, and yeah. This was just a really good Paramore album, and I'm kind of sad if they're going to be done being a band, but we'll see what happens, because I know they just deleted all their social media, so we'll see. I'm really hoping they don't go away, but if they do, they do, and we can't kind of stop it. Number 13 is Beartooth, The Surface. I do love Beartooth, though granted I don't listen to a ton of Beartooth. I still really love Beartooth. My favorite song is, oh my god, I'm blanking. Never mind. But yeah, The Surface was really good. I really enjoyed just the fun, happy vibe, and it makes me like just so happy that Caleb's happy, and like just my favorite song off the album I think is Doubt Me, probably, or probably still Riptide. I love Riptide. That was one of my favorite songs in the summer of 2022. And I will still occasionally like just play that one because it's just a really good song. But yeah, Beartooth The Surface was a really awesome album this year. Number 12 is Måneskin Rush. I love this band so much to the depths of my soul because their song, The Frickin' Loneliest, when it first came out, hit me so hard that still every time I listen to it, it still gets me. Like, this album was just pure fun and joy, and sometimes you could be sad. I had a lot of these songs on repeat for weeks, and if they still come up, I'll still listen to them. Like, On My Mind is another really good one that I really enjoy, and when it comes up, I'll listen to it because it's just fast-paced and fun and just chaotic, and I love it. Honey Revenge Retrovision is a number 11. Another band I actually found earlier in the year with their song Distraction. And though I feel like I didn't listen to this album a ton, for some reason I feel like I did listen to it a lot, or probably just didn't give it enough time to let it sink in. But I do love Honey Revenge. Their song Distraction is still my favorite out of the singles they put up before the album, and it's still my favorite song on the album. Yeah, I probably shouldn't listen to this album again, but like, it's so good. Another great female singer too. I love her voice. I love everything about it. Like, they're just fun, hyper pop punk. I love Honey Revenge. Number 10 is Shame on Me by Catch Your Breath. This is the band that wrote the song Dial Tone. If you don't remember that song, go listen to it, because honestly that song is chef's kiss. But this album is on here in particular for their song 21 Guns is number 10 because of their song 21 Gun Salute. I still have that. I will still play that song. It is my favorite song out of any other songs on that album. Another one I didn't get too much of a chance to listen to, but I did actually listen to it like last week, and it was so good. Like, it's good octane core, and I love octane core, but it was good. It definitely deserves my number 10 spot on here. Number 9 is Crown the Empire Dogma. Another one that I was actually pretty surprised I put really high, because they were still technically relatively a new band to me around the time this released, because I had only listened to them, I think, in November or January. I can't remember when I listened to the rest of their discography. It was either November or January. But regardless, I adore this album. My favorite song is the first song. Like, it's so good. I have it, and I could just go get it right now because I don't remember song titles. Oh, it's just called Dogma. Yeah, the first song's called Dogma. I absolutely love that song. It's just heavy and stuff. Also, Modified is just pure perfection. I love that song too. Dancing with the Dead will still come up in my playlist, and that Dancing with the Dead is just perfect. And also add on to it that when Nick Nocturnal did his reaction, he said in the video, "This is an intense grocery shopping experience." And that phrase still lives rent-free in my head every time I listen to the song. Like, Dancing with the Dead is just... yeah. This album is just perfect. Elwood Stray was actually a band I found late 2022 with their song No Cure, which I still absolutely adore, but their album Gone with the Flow is number 8. I actually have a funny story with this, because I didn't know the day they were putting out the album that they were putting out the album. So when I went to my release radar on Spotify and saw a new Elwood Stray song, I was kind of confused because I didn't know this was happening, and then I looked and it was part of an album, and I was like, I was so excited because, like, I genuinely do enjoy Elwood Stray, and they still have some of my favorite songs of this year, and this album is so good. I will still put No Cure on every time if it comes up on my playlist, and I'll usually have it on repeat for at least like a week. I love that song to death. But yeah, Elwood Stray, Gone with the Flow, really good album. They are a smaller band. I really, really recommend you to check them out. They have some of the best work of doing what I call the car driving riff, which is basically a riff that goes fast that sounds like it could be in an action car movie. And usually I know it's them once I hear their riffs start. They're really good. Please go check them out. Elwood Stray. Number 7 is Currents, The Death We Seek. So this was originally in my honorable mentions, but I ended up putting this in here because I listened to it so much. Like, Living in Tragedy is my favorite song, like that two-step at the end of that song. I love it. And then So Alone and Remember Me choruses are perfect. I've actually had those on repeat the past couple of weeks. Like, this album is what I just call perfect metalcore, and a lot of other reactors and stuff I watch have said this is like just a perfect metalcore album. And like, I so much agree with you. Like, I heard Vengeance in 2022, and then I decided let's listen to the album when it comes out. And I was so happy. This was like 2 weeks before Sleep Token's album came out. So like, I really enjoyed this album. Like, I'll still put their songs on repeat every couple months. Like, I love it. I don't really know what else to say, because I'm awkward. Number 6 is Silent Planet Superbloom. If you have not listened to this album, go listen to it. I've had it on heavy repeat for the past couple weeks. Even after it came out, though I feel like I probably didn't listen to it a ton, I still had certain songs on repeat. Like, Nexus at least has been one of the songs I have on continuous repeat. And a couple other have been added in the past weeks after reading Cruel Prince, because for some reason that album works with the Cruel Prince series so much. But like, Nexus and that freaking end breakdown, I love it so much. Like, the end of Dreamwalker, the second verse of Dreamwalker I love. Overgrowth is just such another really good build-up of a song. I love that drop in that song. Offworlder has one of my favorite starts to a song. Antimatter is just pure perfection every time that drops, and I still get chills. Collider still has one of my favorite pre-last chorus things when he does, there's isolated vocals for a little bit and then it goes into the last chorus. I love that. Signal, even though I didn't listen to it before the album came out, or no, I did, I just didn't remember it. I forgot how much I did love it. It's heavy perfection and I love it. This album is just pure perfection. Even like the interludes, the beginning, first track off the album, even though it's just a short bit of audio, and then Re-Entry, which comes before the last track and right after Nexus. So really like ties this album together and just makes it a whole story, and I love it so much. Like, Super Bloom still has one of my favorite builds up to the end of the song. Like, this album is just so good. Also, one thing I want to say is I wish I could have thrown Unprocessed in here, but I had this done before Unprocessed album came out, and I've been listening to the heck out of the Unprocessed album. So I'm so sad I couldn't throw it in here, and I would have, but I didn't want to mess up what I had already. So, yeah, I feel really bad. Number 5, so we're in my top 5 now. So my number 5 is Invent, Animate, Heavener. One album I've thoroughly enjoyed and will at least listen to once or twice every month is Invent, Animate, Heavener. Like, this album is just pure beauty. And the single that they put out that's just titled Heavener, that song is freaking beautiful. I actually just listened to it like an hour ago. Yeah, this album is just beautiful and has some of my favorite things in it. Ember Glow has one of my favorite moments in it, I think also before the last chorus, where there's just isolated vocals and then it drops into the ending of the song, and it's just beautiful and gives me chills every time. I absolutely love that. I love this album. Invent, Animate, Heavener is my number 5. Polaris Fatalism is number 4. It was really heartbreaking for me just getting into this band and then hearing that they lost a member, because I was really enjoying this band with their song Inhumane. Like, that is still one of my favorite songs of this year. And then that news came out and I wasn't sure how to like feel, because like I had just gotten into this band and I wasn't like really connected with them yet, but like I already felt connected to them because I don't know, it's like, it's weird to explain, but this album is just perfect. I love every song on it, even though I will just honestly play Inhumane on repeat. But songs like Nightmare and Dissipate, Parasite, like, this album was just perfect, and just randomly something I didn't think I would switch over from an honorable mention to be put in album of the year, but it made it. Like, these last 5, 6, and 7 were originally actually all honorable mentions, and I decided to move them over because just the sheer amount that I listened to them, and yeah, I love all these albums. The World Alive Hard Reset was actually another honorable mention that ended up getting moved over because I listened to the crap out of this one, specifically the song Slow Burn, because that is my favorite song off the album. But that song hits somewhere in me I didn't know I needed hit in. And that song also has isolated vocals. Yes, one of my favorite things in songs is isolated vocals. So if you do it well enough, I will keep listening to the song because I freaking love isolated vocals, especially in metal, because it just makes everything hit harder. But The World Alive Hard Reset is just another really good album. Like, it has that freaking Noah Sebastian feature. It has Julian from Loveless. And it has a couple other features from bands I specifically have not listened to, but I really enjoyed. War With You is another really good song I absolutely love. That one also has isolated vocals at the end. Yes. I genuinely love this album, and I just recently listened to the rest of the Silent Planet discography and the rest of the World Alive discography, and I loved both. But yeah. Number 2 is another mention of Nick Nocturnal, because him and his friend Andy Sizik, who have a band together, released an album this year. Their band is Terminus Soul Elegy, with their album Soul Elegy is at my number 2. I love this album. I had this album on repeat for weeks. Their song Inside My Walls still has one of the best choruses, I think, of the year for me. And it's just, that song's catchy. And then they have songs like Under Your Knife, which I love that one. I love the beginning. Their song Parasocial, which talks about being parasocial on the internet. And I love when people like that get called out. And then you also throw in the fact that Nick does some screaming on some songs, and I absolutely love that, because I really wish Nick would actually scream more. But I will take what I got, because I genuinely really love this album. And then my number 1, if you haven't seen the big flag in the back behind me, do you not know what my number 1 is? Because my number 1 is Sleep Token, Take Me Back to Eden. And I know that's what most people's are going to be this year. You know what? I know. Shut up. It is a really good album. I don't care if you don't like them. This album is pure bliss and perfection. Like, I don't really genuinely probably have a favorite off this album anymore. Other than, yes, Rain is actually still probably my favorite song. But this album is just pure perfection. It's bliss. It's beauty. It's like everything I wanted. And coming in still as a new fan, when they released Chokehold and The Summoning, I was still really new to them. I will never forget the moment sitting down here in my room, listening to The Summoning the first time, and thinking before that jazzy ending came in that the song was almost over and I was about to skip through the rest of the song. And then that jazzy part at the end of The Summoning started, and my jaw just dropped. And I will never forget that night, because that cemented really my love for this band, and then it just grew, especially after Granite released, because Granite was my favorite for a while, and then they put out Aqua Regia. Love Aqua Regia. Still one of the best songs of this year too. And then they put out Vor. Freaking love Vor. I know what it's about, but I love hearing those screams in that song. Beautiful. And then they put out Do You Wish That You Loved Me, which I know a lot of people didn't like, but I really enjoy that song. For some of it does resonate with sometimes how I feel. And then the full album came out on May 19th. And I will not, for me here in Minnesota, Thursday night at 11 p.m. So I listened to it and I was upstairs crying. Like, the album started and it was most of the songs I've already heard. So it goes the first 4 singles, which was Chokehold, The Summoning, Granite, Aqua Regia, and Vor, are the first 5 songs on that album. And even though I listened to them, once Chokehold started playing, I was like, I'm gonna cry. And then Ascensionism hit. Track number 6, one of the songs I haven't heard. And as soon as that freaking piano started, I was gone. I was freaking crying. And then you get to that freaking R&B part. Oh my god. Freaking love it. And then the song just gets heavy. Oh my god, I was in heaven. And then it goes back to being sad, and I was crying again. And then the apparition had me crying, but also dancing. And then it's Do You Wish That You Loved Me, I think. That song still hits me to my core when I listen to it, but also, weirdly, I'm gonna dance to that. And then it's Rain. I was crying during that song, but my god, does that second verse go hard as shit. I freaking love Rain so much, and it still has one of my favorite artworks of all the artwork that was done for this album. And then it's Take Me Back to Eden. That song threw me through a loophole many times, and that freaking breakdown at the end blew my mind, and I still love watching reactors react to that moment, but Nick Nocturnal freaking takes the cake for his reaction to that ending, because it was so freaking hilarious and it made me laugh so hard. Please go watch his reaction to it, because you won't be disappointed. And then we have Euclid, which just freaking crushed me into pieces, especially when you have those callbacks to The Night Belongs to God. And yeah, it was nice, like, knowing I had been listening to Sleep Token for 4 months before that, and weirdly hearing it come full circle still hit as hard for me as if I was a fan that had been listening to them since when they released Sundowning or Thread the Needle. Like, I genuinely have such a deep love for this band. Like, they became one of my favorite bands this year next to Battlemans and Spiritbox. And they generally did finally kick some of the other bands out that I didn't need in there anymore. And I was like, I don't know. I could honestly make a whole video talking about Sleep Token, and I'm not. But, like, this album is just pure perfection. Also, watching, because I can't go to concerts physically right now, and I wish I could, but at least I have YouTube, so getting to watch songs from this album get played live was still super emotional for me, even if I'm not there. It still got me because these songs have deep-rooted emotional things in there for me. And honestly, yeah, Sleep Token just won this year for me. And you can't say anything to change my mind or bring up any other album, because Sleep Token would just take it no matter what. Okay, yeah, I'm gonna be done now. This video is 38 minutes.